What is good? We're back. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about some running backs on this redraft episode of the FFD. Chev, how you doing?
Now that's what I call a sack lunch. Hey, I'm doing. Oh shit, I'm doing good, man. Any day on this side of the dirt's a good one, brother.
That's right, man. And so we're going to talk about our model is down, turned the ankle on the runway, not going to make it this week. So we're going to talk about some sit starts, some questionable decisions of, hey, this guy, am I starting him this week? There's a better option. High register plays, I guess you could call it, because, shout out to Rich Eisen show. When you got to go high register, I don't know. So we're going to talk injured players, what we're doing with them. We're going to talk about some question marks, and we'll end up with like some of our best favorite matchups. All right. So let's get right into it. We got Jacobs, limited practice, but Emanuel Wilson having a good spot duty fill in, and then a great game last week. So how are we playing this backfield this week, Chev?
Well, this is uncomfortable because I'm debating on whether or not Emanuel Wilson is our new Blake Corum. And he's just been so dynamic when they give him the ball that you could take some of the workload off of Josh Jacobs. I originally thought that there was zero chance that, Josh Jacobs is one of the stalwart bell cow, gonna handle all the goal line touches, gonna handle most of the work. And you've seen Matt LaFleur sneaking that BS back into it where he wants to rotate backs. Matt LaFleur is the person who willingly split snaps between Dion Lewis and Derrick Henry, by the way, if you guys are not familiar.
Indeed. He also a lot of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon for a while.
Yes. So we have a pattern, and this is troubling to me. Now, I'm going to play Josh Jacobs because if Josh Jacobs is active, you play him. You're not benching Josh Jacobs. He's too good.
At Detroit.
But the flip side of that is, are we into flexing Emanuel Wilson? No buys this week. Are we into flexing Emanuel Wilson?
I think, Chev, in the beginning of this season, if you're listening on the Dynasty channel, I thought that Marshawn Lloyd was going to get an opportunity to get closer to not a 50-50 split, but 60-40, maybe 70-30 to start work his way into a 60-40 because of, like you mentioned, with LaFleur. And I just don't know that we're going to go. Number one, Josh Jacobs is not going to be healthy, and they need a running game right now. That is the crux of this offense, almost to a detriment right now of people saying, well, is LaFleur scared to throw the ball around? Hey, we're just going to run it. I think Emanuel Wilson's got to be a part of this game plan kind of moving forward. And I think at least for the next couple of weeks, you're going to have some figuring out to do. And, if you're in a playoff push right now, I don't think Josh Jacobs is playing this week, and if he was, I don't think I would play him, Chev. I think I'm on the opposite side. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying of like, hey, if he's playing, you got to play him, and you're probably right. But like, let's not. I like Josh Jacobs. I think he's great. I caped for Josh Jacobs way back when he was washed in the first half of the Eagles game last year. Yep. I think he's good. He's been solid, rock solid this year. Has he looked super explosive though? And now you're gonna, he's been a little banged up. Now he's definitely banged up. Wilson's come in there and give you a little bit of shot of life in the run game. Not that it has been bad, but I think right now you're going to see a bit of both. And I think at least for this game, I would definitely lean a little more Emanuel Wilson, even if Jacobs plays.
Ooh, okay. All right. So I reckon my thought process of Jacobs, going back to his comments, is like, look, if I don't play Sunday, then I'm definitely playing on Thursday. So that's what I'm holding on to as the Josh Jacobs supreme bag holder. On the best ball and the dynasty, the redraft side, I'm hoping that he's playing. This is not an optimal matchup, but you did see Tyrone Tracy be able to get loose a little bit. That I think they got everybody healthy in the front seven, but it's always a great matchup and battle in the trenches outside of that one time where a couple times where the Detroit Lions have absolutely mauled the Packers up front. I don't anticipate that happening this Sunday. It actually happened in reverse earlier this year. So, yeah. We spent a ton of time on that, but all that to say, I'm playing Josh Jacobs this week. Emanuel Wilson, probably sneaky flex, just because he's so much better than what we're giving him credit for. And you just saw him finish as the RB2 overall.
I agree. Hey, we're here to spend as much time as we need on things. We're not under a quick clock, so I think that was a worthwhile discussion. All right, next one we got Alvin Kamara. Seems like he's probably not playing. Devin Neal only handled 7 carries, but 74% of the snaps they were down. But the big part was 7 targets, 5 receptions, 43 yards. So how much does Devin Neal interest you as a plug-in this week?
A lot. First of all, we're big Devin Neal people on the Dynasty side. Hey, check the receipts, check the timestamps. All right, we've been here, and now we're here with Devin Neal for redraft season because, we got an injury. We got Kamani Vidal into relevance, and we're here with a much better player than Kamani Vidal in Devin Neal. So I think you can play him this week. I mean, it's the Dolphins. They're not, earlier in the season, they were just giving up the yams left, right, and center when in the run game. It's gotten a little bit better, but I still think that they can be had. So if I'm desperate, I'm putting in a few waiver claims tonight, and we're recording this on Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. I'm putting in a few waiver claims to have Devin Neal on my roster just to make sure that he can't go off on somebody else's team.
Yeah, I like that. And if he could, like I said, the unexpected for him to have that workload in the pass game. I think, but the week before that, 3 for 3. So you come in here, Miami, not world beaters, but like you said, better on defense than they've been. This is a 41.5 point spread. Opened at 44, and now looks like it's down to 41.5. So, I think this is a decent matchup. I've been kind of saying the Saints don't really quit, so I like that about them. And so I think Devin Neal can be a pretty safe RB2 flex play here, potential with a little bit of upside where there's maybe a pass catching floor here that makes it not so bad if he doesn't rush well, which I think there's an opportunity to rush half decent against Miami. I don't
in the
dome. Or no, it's away. It's at Miami. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Regardless, they're not going to be too phased by playing in Miami. I don't think. They're either going to get the doors blown off them or they're going to keep it ugly and competitive. I think Etienne has a monster game. I think there's going to be enough room to function in this game to where Devin Neal could give you another 3-4 catches, 30 yards. If he's feeling it and he's like, all right, cool, I've had time to get my tracks down, to get comfortable with my steps on the offensive, between the offensive line and how they're setting things up. We could get a big performance. Devin Neal is good.
I agree.
Okay? We talked about it a bunch on the Dynasty side. We're just gonna go back and forth saying how good Devin Neal is. So I guess we need to move on. But
yeah, but I think there's Devin Neal's awesome. Yeah. We'll throw Neal up against some players here as we kind of move on. Hunt looks like he's going to get Pacheco'd this week, so I think I'm pretty much staying away from that situation. The Hunt Pacheco running back Chiefs backfield this week.
Yeah. I shoot. Boy, right out the gate with a strong one. Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna go Neal. I'll go Neal.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd take Neal over either one of those two guys. But so I'm just basically generally asking, you're staying away from the Chiefs backfield for the most part here, if you can help it.
Yeah, I made up a question in my head, pitting them against each other.
Hey, it's just all about Neal propaganda. Yeah. Underdog just dropped prediction markets, spreads, totals, and team outcomes. And the best part, you can combine them with player picks for bigger multipliers. Sign up today with code FFDynasty and make a $5 entry to get up to $100 in fantasy bonus entries. Prediction markets are now live in 25 states, including Texas, California, and Florida. And Underdog is available in over 40 states with player picks and draft games. Prediction markets, player picks, all on Underdog. Yeah, that's what we're here for. So Ashton Jeanty, battling potentially an ankle, got a lot of work through the pass game last week. was really good in that regard. They fire Chip Kelly. If Jeanty plays, I'll fire him up. If no Jeanty, though, is there an interest in Mostert at all? Because I think I just got written next to if Jeanty doesn't play.
Nah, like it's a bad offense. Greg Olsen did, pepper Josh Jacobs when he was a Raider with targets way back when Josh Jacobs finishes like the RB1 overall that season. So that does boost the value. Really, Chip Kelly just not being involved boosts the value. But this whole operation is just hopeless. So I'm not gonna fool with Mostert. I'm not gonna fool with Mostert at all this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Bucky Irving seems like he's going to be back in the fold maybe finally here after a really long stint, but not on IR. Really, really jammed up some fantasy managers, I'm sure. But you're getting rewarded for hanging on here. At least I am. If Bucky practices and is suiting up to play, you're throwing him in, assuming, all systems go, right?
All right, we're locked in. We talked last week about, the Arizona Cardinals over the past 6 weeks. We just saw Travis Etienne go for 116 total yards and a touchdown. Yeah, he's all the way back. Shout out to everybody who stayed the course on him. Now, I think that Bucky this does come with a slight caveat that if Baker Mayfield's not playing, this changes kind of the trajectory, but I think Bucky's going to be so excited about being back out there and wanting to be on the field. They may just thrust him right back. No pause. Anyway, they may allow him to play quite a few snaps this week and get quite a few opportunities. See, I almost said touches, but then we're floating way too close to the Diddy Dixon line. I don't know. Hey, look, we're a couple hours away from shutting this shit down for the next couple of days. So you get what you get, and you don't go field.
Without Baker Mayfield, any concern though here?
It just lowers the floor a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, you might get like 9 points. Or if it's real bad,
I look at it as they just need Bucky back in the fold here, and he's going to get plenty of work, and he's good enough to get free on a run or a pass here or there, and be able to just make it so it's not a terrible play for you. But yeah, firing him up. So next one, going to get the kind of high register guys here with some question marks. I got Rico Dowdle written down, Woody Marks, Tyrone Tracy, RJ Harvey, and Swift here. So these guys have had up and down seasons. They've had up and down weeks over the last couple of weeks. Some are trending in one direction. Others are trending in the downward trajectory. But so Bucky or Rico Dowdle, right? I guess, just going from where we were to kind of these question marks. I know Rico's been good and he hasn't killed you necessarily, but it's not where we were a couple weeks ago.
They're doing a little nonsense over there. Old Canales is doing some nonsense on us right now. I would love for this answer to be Rico Dowdle, but I'm going to take the mystery box of Bucky Irving's return.
I like it. All right. So how about Bucky or Woody or Rico or Woody Marks? Like, how are we feeling about the Woody Marks rest of season play?
Uno reverse, because Woody's your guy. So answer the question.
Panthers have the Rams. I'll go Woody.
Yeah. I'm going Joe Quavius Marks the first, also as well too. Yes, he's been so much better, and he looks more explosive than he did on his USC tape. We knew he could catch passes, but he's more effective in the run game behind that shitty offensive line, and I really like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, didn't equate to the last couple of weeks we were excited about him, and even in this last game there was an exciting couple of moments with Woody Marks, but it only got you 7 points and 6 points the week before, right? So, but up in the high 60s for snap percentage, he had 18 and 16 carries. Well, the big problem right now is one target. We gotta get those rookie numbers. We gotta get the numbers up.
He's getting the goal line carries now, so that's very positive for us. Everything is trending the way that you want it to trend for a rookie running back. And I would point to his usage. if I could take away anything from going back to Devin Neal, if I got the type of usage from Devin Neal that we've gotten from Woody Marks the past couple of weeks, I would be thrilled.
Mm-hmm. So would you rather play, let's go back like on these question mark high register guys, would you rather Devin Neal or any of the guys that we've Rico or Marks? You sticking with Rico and Marks over Devin Neal?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If I had Rico Dowdle or Woody Marks, I would not stick Devin Neal into my lineup over them. Okay, not right now.
All right, Tyrone Tracy been on a heater since the regime change over there. They're cutting ties with head coach DC. Kafka's in there calling plays. JMO's chucking it around. It might get Dart back, but how do you feel about Tyrone Tracy? Would you play Tracy over either of the two of Woody Marks or Rico Dowdle? Or is there different scenarios that you would play Tracy in over those two guys?
I think
like, I'm down. I'm like, if I'm less favored, if I need a bigger play, does Tracy profile her as a bigger play for you, like upside play, or you kind of all have the same upside?
No, I couldn't. It's interesting because without Milton Williams, that Patriots run defense has taken a slight step back. Chase Brown's the first 100-yard rusher they allowed. The week before that, they allowed, 2 weeks before, Sean Tucker was the first guy to go over 50. Like, it's not as scary as it was, but at the same time, I would just rather, what I'm realizing is that I really like Woody Marks this week.
You had it. We threw him in the top 12 last week. It was looking good for a minute. Didn't quite come to fruition, but I mean, Tyrone Tracy, 17, 16 points, 20 carries, 19 carries, 14 carries. And the big part is four targets over the last 2 games. And Singletary didn't come in and, rob some nice carries from him. I mean, Singletary's still running the ball at a high clip. The Giants are. Singletary's still getting carries. But it feels like Tracy went from, I played you for a couple of weeks. It didn't work out. Now you're on my bench, but now I feel like you got to get Tracy in the lineup.
I'm rolling. Yeah. All right, fine. Yeah. I'd still go Woody, but I would flip a coin between him and Rico, between Tracy and Rico for this week.
Yeah.
With the Carolina Panthers taking on the Rams, like it's an awful matchup.
Yeah.
So
long as Tracy's getting the lion's share of the receiving work, and if Devin Singletary could not vulture him, I think Tracy's a pretty strong overall play here. So, all right, that gets us to guys like Harvey and Swift. Like Harvey's got a great matchup. He's in one of our favorite matchups to end the show here. You feel comfortable firing up RJ Harvey this week? Because I mean, the matchup's good. The Commanders have been awful tackling. I don't know that I pretty much everybody on this list so far, I'd rather play than Harvey, right?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
I don't know. Listen, I think
coming back off the bye,
coming back off the bye, Joker role confirmed. Like he was doing the tough stuff. It was just a really hard matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Like he showed you what we want. He showed you what you wanted to see. It just was such a knockdown, drag out. Like we're not going to give an inch. There were no run game plays of note. He didn't get loose in the passing game. But this week against the Washington Commanders, who can't stop perimeter runs, yeah, give me RJ Harvey over all those guys this week.
Ooh, baby, a lot of upside potential there, right? I mean, so there's upside play.
Yeah, give me RJ Harvey over everyone except Josh Jacobs if he plays this week.
Yeah, RJ Harvey. So okay, I mean, we did mention Jeanty, but you'd probably play Jeanty over RJ Harvey, right?
This week, if Jeanty plays
in the big house.
In the big. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, yeah, we gotta. So Maybe I would play. Okay, I'd play Ashton Jeanty over RJ Harvey. But I'm just saying, there's a good chance, in my opinion, the Chef GPT calculations, there's a very good chance that RJ Harvey's like a top 10 running back this week.
Okay. And we got Swift on the back end of this list. And then I kind of had this group of Brees, Chase Brown, and Judkins, right? And are those guys all firmly ahead of this other list that we just put out there of the high register question mark, the Rico, Marks? I mean, you just gave RJ Harvey a lot of love, but Rico, Marks, Tracy, Harvey, Swift.
Brees would be ahead of them for this week, taking on the Falcons. Like I'd still have RJ Harvey ahead of Brees, but not by much. I'll actually tell you where they are in the rankings. If you give me just 1 second.
All right. I threw Chase Brown on here. We just did it on the Dynasty Show last 6 weeks. I think he's RB7 over the last 6 weeks. He's been fantastic after a bad start. So, I mean, he's an every week starter for me. So for me, it's Brees over those guys. It's Chase Brown over those guys. And Judkins against Sam Fran should be a good matchup. Maybe we keep this Shador magic kind of rolling. It wasn't necessarily outside of the getting the two TDs. They didn't run the ball extremely well this past week, but Sam Fran could be another story there with just kind of, how that defense is kind of going, although playing a little better as of late, but definitely a big hole in that middle. If you can get the run game going, I think you can impose your will on them currently. So,
yeah. Just to go circle back, I've got Judkins. I've got Harvey ahead of Judkins and Brees Hall this week.
Harvey up there.
Mm-hmm.
Got the nuts on the table, hunting for the playoffs.
Hey,
trying to make it in there.
We're gonna call our shots, and then we'll just collect the checks later. That's where we're at with that one. I just, with the way that I think that they're going to want to involve him for down the stretch with basically no J.K. Dobbins for the rest of the year. They want to run the football. Their offensive line is excellent at running the football. And the Commanders are not excellent at stopping. They're excellent at allowing people to do whatever the fuck they want on offense. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'll just roll with that.
Just to circle back to Swift, had a disappointing week last week, and then has Philly this week. I think for me, he'd probably be the lowest rank out of all of those guys that we talked about.
Yeah.
Even though it feels nasty because they've really got the run game going over there, but last week just left a bad taste in my mouth. He'll probably bounce back. Tough matchup though, and that's Friday, right?
Yeah. He's got bacterial monogitis right now.
Yeah. Swift. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it moving. We just wanted to quickly touch on some of the best matchups, so we're not doing the rankings quite this week, but like some of your favorite matchups for the week. I mean, some of these guys are every week starters, excuse me. But who's Chev's favorite matchups that you're basically walking in there saying, I'm playing these guys over a lot of players right now?
Well, guess what? Number one, it's going to be RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey, of course.
We talked about that one pretty in depth. We said we like Brees. We talked about Pittsburgh. These matchups, the matchups are what are kind of dictating this thing. So as we get to it, I really like Pittsburgh's run game versus, whichever running back that it is versus the Bills this week. I don't know what to make of that game, but we'll talk about that.
I think you got to still lean Warren, although shout out to Gainwell for being so damn good and deserving. He's a contract guy, so he's somebody to keep your eye on down. I think he deserves a B role somewhere. He's a great pass catcher. He's shown when they call on him to be the man, he can be that. Now to Arthur Smith's only credit, like their run game and quick pass game has been good, especially back half of the season. But this Bills D's good advantageous matchup here. I'd roll with the Warren side of things and play him and Gainwell if you really needed it. But I do like the matchup, so I'd definitely want to try to shoehorn Warren in there against the Bills D. You mentioned RJ Harvey against the Commanders. You got high high praise on him. Treveyon versus the Giants. There it is. Obviously, Ramondre back. We don't know how it's going to play out with timeshare for them, but good enough in this last week. And this is a really solid matchup. So this is one of the favorites. You got to fire Treveyon up at all costs.
Yeah. The question is just whether or not Treveyon breaks a huge run. Mm-hmm. That's what the Giants have been allowing a lot of lately. We just saw Jahmyr Gibbs hit the fastest ball carrier speed this season against them. And like, for all how good their defensive line is, they're just not very good at playing the run. So yeah, I'm ridiculously bullish on Treveyon this week.
Then we got Saquon playing the Bears. Obviously, Saquon is an always start at this point, but you're definitely having weeks and times of. This should be a good stretch for the schedule for Saquon. This offense is so suspect right now, and Saquon just isn't quite. It's not quite clicking. This offensive line isn't where we've seen it, but still, you like this matchup a lot.
Yes. The Bears are allowing the second most yards before contact per attempt. They're, Tremaine Edmonds might not play. TJ Edwards has been in and out of the lineup. They get a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of interceptions, but they're not very good at stopping the run. So, and Saquon, from my memory, has played pretty well against the Bears in his career for whatever reason. So, yeah.
Then we got ET versus your Titans, who's been, if you're not watching the film on ET, I don't think you're getting how
you are shortchanging yourself.
He's erasing. I think some of people kind of not calling him being able to be like the power back in a situation. Like, of course, volume is going to have to be king for a running back to be, in the upper echelon of scoring one way or the other, whether it's pass volume or touches. But he's running really well right now, and it's not like the sexiest runs, but he's running hard, running in the paint, getting it done for them. And at the end of the day, that's what Cohen really wants. That's what all these good teams want to be. They want to have an identity of being able to run the ball, and ET's getting it done right now. Titans potentially soft in that area.
Potentially.
And then a sneaky good one here.
Belly is harder than the Titans run. Right,
sneaky good one here. Cardinals against Tampa.
Yeah, so Tampa's allowing the fifth most yards before contact. We think of them as a huge pass funnel defense. You just saw them get torched by the Rams. Kyron Williams did nothing. But here's the caveat: perimeter runs. And it just so happens that probably going to get Trey Benson back. They've had his practice window. This is the last week, right? That they can bring him back. I'll fact check that, and we'll talk about it on the Twitter ads. But I think that this could be a sneaky good matchup because they don't have anybody they don't have a lot of speed on defense. So these perimeter runs, Treveyon Henderson crushed him. James Cook crushed him. Trey Benson is that type of back, a home run hitting big play back. We haven't seen it. We saw it in week 1 against the Saints, I believe. He had a 55-yard run. So he is capable of generating explosives. This has been a team that generates a lot of explosive runs, 15-plus yards, 20-plus yards over the last couple of years with James Conner. So I think Trey Benson's a fine, just dynamic play this week, potentially.
Yeah, and if not, then Bam Knight, probably not the worst play either.
Right. He got hurt again, too.
Yeah. Michael Carter. Then. Yeah. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about with these running backs before we wrap it up?
No, that was good.
Right. Let's wrap it up. Stay safe out there. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Yeah.